If you're confused about the CFP experience requirements, you're not alone. It's one of the most misunderstood parts of the whole certification process. And the next few minutes could literally save you years of unnecessary work. I'll be breaking down 3 critical things: the pathways to qualifying experience, what activities actually count, including some you might be doing right now, and the timing strategies that many candidates miss. Whether you're fresh out of college, working in finance already, or planning a career change, you'll learn how to navigate this requirement efficiently. Now, some quick context before we dive in. I'm sharing this as someone making the transition from tech to financial planning. While I'm still early in the journey myself, I've extensively researched these requirements and spoken to successful CFPs to understand exactly how this works. My background in tech taught me the value of reverse engineering success, and that's exactly what we're doing here today. Let's start by examining the 2 main ways to meet this requirement. The first option is the apprenticeship pathway, which requires 4,000 hours or about 2 years of full-time work. This can speed up your certification journey by a year. But here's the catch. You need to work directly with a CFP professional under their supervision and be involved in every aspect of financial planning. Given these strict requirements, this path is typically only feasible if you have a close relationship with a CFP or you find a firm specifically structured for this pathway. Now, most people are going to end up taking the aptly named standard pathway, which requires 6,000 hours or about 3 years of full-time work. This path is more flexible in what counts as experience and has no supervision requirements. This is usually the best fit if you're already working in the broader financial services industry or you're planning a career transition. Understanding the pathways is just the first step. The real key is knowing exactly which experiences count. And this is where many candidates find unexpected opportunities to accelerate their progress. A common misconception I see people have is they assume you have to be a full-time associate planner for your experience to count. And that's just not true. In fact, the CFP board takes a surprisingly broad view of qualifying experience under the standard path. Basically, any experience that can be tied back to any one of these elements of financial planning counts. Generally, standard path experiences fall into 3 buckets. First, there's direct client work. This is the obvious one. But did you know that if you're self-employed, the board has a program that allows you to count those hours too? I'll share a link in the description about the qualified attester requirement linked to the self-employment. Second, and this is surprising for most people, support and operational roles count too. So back office operations, compliance work, paraplanning where you might not be presenting to clients directly, even teaching college-level financial planning courses or being a personal finance journalist count. And third, there's pro bono work, like volunteering for federal tax advising programs. Let me show you how this works with 2 real examples. Michael works at a retail bank. He spends about 30% of his time on financial planning and about 70% on traditional banking services. That means he's accumulating 12 hours per week towards this requirement. Sarah is a self-employed CPA, splitting her time between tax preparation and planning. While the 25 hours a week she spends on tax returns, bookkeeping, and the general running of her business don't count, the 15 hours she spends advising clients on tax-efficient retirement withdrawals and estate planning do. That means she's accumulating 15 hours per week while maintaining her accounting practice. If you're finding these real-world examples helpful, take a quick second and hit that like button. It helps others find this information too. Now let's talk about what doesn't count. And basically, that's anything not related to financial planning. So prospecting, sales, marketing, working with corporate clients, such as small businesses or Wall Street type investment banking, IT work, even if it's at a financial firm, and administrative tasks like internal accounting or training do not count. Finally, you can't count more than 40 hours per week, even if you're working multiple jobs or burning the midnight oil. If you're still not sure if your current role or a role you're looking at counts, the CFP board has a dedicated email address for experience questions. I'll include it in the show notes below. They can review your specific situation before you invest months or even years of time. When in doubt, just ask. It's that simple. Now, while knowing experience requirements is crucial, there's another element that can make or break your CFP journey: timing. Remember how I mentioned getting this wrong could cost you years? The CFP board gives you 2 windows for completing your experience: 10 years before passing the exam and 5 years after. Now, this timing can really make or break your strategy, especially if only part of your job qualifies as experience. Let me break this down with a practical example. If you're working a role where only half your activities counts as qualifying, it would take about 6 years to accumulate the necessary 6,000 hours. So if you pass the exam first and then start your experience, you'll miss the 5-year post-exam window. The board does grant extensions, but you'll likely want to get a year or 2 of experience under your belt before taking the exam. Now that we've covered the strategic elements, let's dive into the practical side, how to actually track and document your process. Now, you'll be happy to hear that this is a straightforward process. The CFP board's online system lets you log positions, specify the average hours per week that qualify, and track progress automatically. There's no need for detailed daily logs or accounting for your vacation time. Once you hit the total hour requirement, expect the board to take about 3 to 5 days to review your experience. Some candidates get randomly selected for verification. Don't worry, this is just a quick check with your most recent supervisor. Now that you understand both the strategy and the mechanics, let's turn this knowledge into action. Here's exactly what you should do next, depending on your current situation. If you're currently in financial services, start documenting your experiences now. Yes, even before coursework and prep. If you're planning a career change, focus on finding a qualifying role first. It doesn't have to be your dream position. Try to find a role that gives you about 40 hours of experience per week. Finally, if you're still in school, look for internships with firms that have CFP professionals. This could set you up for the faster apprenticeship pathway. Remember, while the experience requirement often feels like the most daunting part of earning your CFP marks, it's actually quite straightforward. The board wants to see you applying coursework concepts in real-life situations. If you found this breakdown helpful, you'll definitely want to check out my next video, 4 entry-level financial planning jobs without sales pressure. I'll show exactly how to find these roles that qualify for CFP experience while avoiding high-pressure sales environments. And if you're curious about the income potential once you get your CFP marks, take a look at my video breaking down real salary data from 1,200 CFPs. I'll link it right here. See you in the next one.